Hi, my name's Lynette Xanders. A lot of people ask me how to break into the agency world and land that first role. Today I'll share the steps, mindset, and strategies that can help you get your foot in the door and start building a strong career in the creative industry. Working in an agency is a valuable first step for strategists and creatives, I believe, because they have you do a little bit of everything, that you are limited only by your motivation and your willingness to give up some sleep, at least in the smaller agencies. If you want to try something, try something. And I think the speed that agencies operate in is a life skill. You just learn things to get things done in a really short span of time. And you also learn how to integrate strategy and creative into other disciplines. Like, you can see it start to finish. So, from the early ideation through to the media buy, and seeing it out in the world, and then being able to track what happened to it. And I think that kind of connective tissue across a project is invaluable. Agencies look for, as far as entry-level talent, they're not great places in terms of training you. It's on-the-job training, and I have found that agencies tend to hire whoever's in front of them. So my first piece of advice is get an internship if you can. Even if it's only for a few weeks. If you are in front of them and they see that you can be of value and they like hanging out with you, you're likely to get a job offer to stay. When people came in to see me to interview for entry-level positions, which, I guess as an agency director, I needed people who could be valuable to me out the gate. So what I always tell people is come in with, if you don't have your own portfolio, even as a strategist, even if you bring work that you think is great work, even if somebody else's that just was out in the ether, if you can talk to me about work, that's a good first step. And I remember I was hiring George, and I said, we need to be able to, if you can't talk about movies, we won't be able to talk about ads. And he's like, I haven't seen a movie in forever. And I was like, okay, I know you're not doing anything for the next hour because you were supposed to be here talking to me. So leave, go watch a movie in a theater, come back tomorrow, and we're going to talk about it. And I want to know what you thought the theme was, what you liked about it, what you would have done differently. And I ended up hiring him, and he was absolutely fantastic. And he's in New York now, crushing it. But it's an ability to talk about ideas, I think, is huge. But I also tell people to make a list of the things that they can do to be of value that minute. So I can proofread your documents. I can, organize the library. Whatever that is, just lists of things that are menial that would take things off my to-do list. And if you can know what you can do to be of value, that's going to help somebody go, oh yeah, that would be helpful. I think I would love to have you around. My first agency job was at the Richards Group. Unbelievably lucky to land that. And so I don't even know that my experience is going to be super helpful for you, but I'll tell you anyway. So I actually got an informational interview with Stan Richards. So that's kind of the first, is just getting in the door, interviewing people, asking for an audience, meeting them after they speak. And I think what helped me was I wasn't dying for the job, right? I was just I was interested. was like, what do you guys do and how does this work? And he said, I wanted to work in a research company. And he said, why don't you want to work at an ad agency? And I was like, oh, I don't like advertising. And he said, tell me more. And I was like, well, it, just kind of everything on TV just seems like it thinks people are stupid. And he kind of smiled and he said, that is just a great perspective for a strategist, for an account planner. Because if you said everything out there was great, there would be nothing that you could do to elevate the industry. But the fact that you don't like it and you want to make it better is like the best place to be. So instead of being outside the house of advertising throwing stones at it, why don't you come inside and try to make it better? So I was just honest with him. Like, I think that's the best advice I have. Just kind of said, this is what I'm concerned about. Common mistakes people make when applying. So if you're a candidate, or you at least get an interview, that's, I think, the hardest part. But once you have the interview set up, I see candidates who have not done their research at all. They don't know what the agency does. They don't know what work is out there, and they don't know which department that they want to apply for. I've had people sit down and go, well, I could be a strategist, or I could be a creative, or I could be in the media. And I'm like, you have no idea what's going on. So know enough to know where you want to work. There are a lot of people who give you an informational interview. Know what the agency does. Like the question that tends to get be the kicker is, tell me about some work that's out there that you think is awesome or that you think is awful. And if you can't think of anything, you're not going to get the job. And if you can't speak to it, if you don't have a point of view about what makes great work, what makes awful work, you're not going to get the job. I think they also tend to be a little overly formal. And I don't mean to, come in a sweatsuit, but my litmus test for people I work with, whether I work for them or they work for me, is I have to trust them to pick me up from the airport, and I have to be able to be in a 3-hour car ride with them without sticking a pencil in my forehead. So you have to be able to relate to people on a human level. Being able to talk about movies. That was just a requirement for me. If we couldn't do that, then it wasn't going to go anywhere else. So do your homework and don't be a robot. And the best piece of advice I would give to someone just starting out is learn all you can about the real world in agencies. Take people to lunch if you can. Go to seminars. I mean, there's so much stuff on LinkedIn that, just learn about strategy and learn about agencies. But it is all about networking, I think. So going to, Portland and Milwaukee, and most cities have an ad club. So attending those and meeting people and shaking hands is huge. But I think the most important thing is to have a point of view on work. So start building a portfolio of work that you think is awesome. If it's stuff you made, like, even better. But being able to walk in and say, this is what I think is super cool, and this is my philosophy of advertising. And what I mean by philosophy of advertising is, Stan used to say, he wanted to make ads that were endearing, because likability is kind of the greatest indicator of whether an ad's going to work or not. Are you likable? Did you make your brand likable? And whether you agree with that or not is irrelevant. It's that's his point of view. That's his perspective on what makes great advertising. So find that, have that, bring in some examples, be able to talk about it, and make sure you can talk about ideas. Like, so kick around, what makes a great movie or who you would have cast instead. So exercise that creative muscle, but have the ability to talk about it. I think that's kind of key. So breaking into an agency is about preparation, and it's about persistence. If you want some more guidance and more resources, visit wildalchemy.com.